In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about how I started my own independent courier business with less than £1,000. There's going to be 3 steps to this that I'm going to talk you through and explain exactly how I done it and how you can do the exact same thing to reduce your expenses at the beginning when you're starting out as a van delivery driver. So my name's Tommy. I started and founded Tommy Courier Services, but enough about me. Let's get into this, and I'm going to talk to you about this today as to how you can reduce your expenses at the beginning and start your own courier business for less than £1,000. So there's going to be a few main expenses that you're going to have when getting started and setting up your courier business. One of, if not the most expensive thing that you're going to need to buy and invest in is going to be your vehicle. That's going to be your van. One way that you can reduce your expenses at the beginning with this is by actually starting with your car, using the vehicle that you currently have to make money, and then using the profits that you make from that to invest in a van or invest in a better vehicle a little bit later down the line. There's a few options you can go down when acquiring a vehicle when it comes to that point in your journey. You can look at interest payments, i.e. PCP finance or HP finance. These two are good. However, you're going to pay interest, so you're going to pay more than what the vehicle is worth. You've then got cash payments, so you can buy a second-hand vehicle. If you know what you're shopping about for, then this is going to be the best way to do it. And then you've also got lease, where you can take out a lease for your vehicle. A lease is actually the route I went down when I got my van. The reason I did this is because I could put no money down up front and then just pay for it monthly. By doing this, this reduced my expenses in the beginning and in the initial startup phase of my courier business when I needed the money the most to be able to expand, to grow the business, to get my customers, and to start generating revenue for my van delivery business. So all in all, I paid around £320 for my van at the beginning because that's what the cost of one monthly installment was, and all I paid was 1 month up front. So that's £300 out of the £1,000 so far on acquiring my vehicle. You can do the same. Getting a lease or a finance agreement on your vehicle is a good way to keep the upfront cost down, because you don't have to pay £5, £8, £10, £15,000 for a van or for a car straight out of your bank with the money up front. So this is one thing that I done to reduce my costs in the initial startup phase when I was acquiring my vehicle. But like I say, you can start in your car, start with the vehicle that you have, and then as you start to make money and your business grows and you have more customers and you see the demand there, that's when you can look to upgrade, get yourself a van and invest further into the business. But you'll be investing with the profits, the money you've already made, so it won't be money coming out of your pocket at the beginning. So that's point number one, is your vehicle. I paid around £300, like I said, but let's move on to point number 2, which is insurance. So when you're getting started out as a van delivery driver, there's 3 essential insurances you need: hire and reward, goods in transit, and public liability. These insurances are essential. You need these to be protected and to make sure that you have all the relevant insurances so that when you do a job, that you're able to take the job and do the job properly. And if you don't have these insurances, some companies won't actually work with you. So you need to make sure that you have these insurances. What I did with these insurances, not so much my goods in transit and public liability, because for these I paid around about £150 for the whole year. So they're not very expensive at all. If you break that down on a month by month basis, that's around about £10, give or take, for the whole year, about £8 a month. So they're not expensive at all. But in terms of hire and reward, which is the insurance that you have on your vehicle, on your van or car, whatever vehicle you're starting with, you're going to want to reduce this expense as much as possible. Because the reason being, if you don't reduce this expense, you could be looking at maybe £1,500, £2,000, sometimes even up to £4,000 if you're going with the wrong companies. What I did to reduce this expense is I decided to pay it monthly, so that the fee I would be paying for this would be coming out on a month-by-month basis, and it would break the cost down a lot more, as opposed to me paying £2,000 up front. So for my hire and reward insurance, I pay around about £165 a month. So that brought my startup cost for that to £165 because I only had to pay the 1 month up front. And then from there, I just paid it monthly and monthly. Again, further reducing my upfront costs and my upfront expenses when setting up my business. The rest of the money, over £500 of that £1,000, actually went on capital in the business. So what I mean by this is a mistake I see a lot of people make when they're starting out as a courier, when they're getting set up with their business. They don't take into account the fact that they are going to have money in the bank account to be able to run the business for the first month, 2 weeks, 6 weeks, or so on and so forth, depending on how long it takes for their invoices to get paid. So what kind of expenses are you going to have to incur in this? So this is going to include your fuel expenses. Obviously, you're going to have to pay for your fuel to be able to do the deliveries. If you can't afford to pay for the fuel, then you can't do the deliveries, which means you don't get paid, which means there's no cash flow into your business, which means your business starves and your business disappears before it's even got off the ground. So this will include things like your lunch, your fuel, your any maintenance of the vehicle that you might need. You might go out on your first week and next thing you're going to need brake pads or tires or something that you haven't quite calculated correctly and that you haven't planned for. Things like this. This could be AdBlue. This could be staying in a hotel overnight if you have an overnight delivery. It could be toll bridges. It could be paying for parking, paying for airport drop-off. Things like this, which you're going to have to take into account when running your business, which are classed as just normal running expenses, monthly expenses, miscellaneous expenses, if you like. And that's what I used the other £500 for. So all in all, I paid just over £300 for my van, £165 for the insurance, and then the rest of the money of the £1,000 that I used to get set up, I left in the bank account to cover my fuel bill, to cover any expenses, to cover things like this that I just mentioned. And that is how I got my courier business off the ground for less than £1,000. When looking at getting your insurance, there's multiple ways that you can reduce that expense. One of them I mentioned is by paying it monthly. But another great way to reduce your insurance is to make sure that you're going with the correct insurance company and then you're not paying over the odds. We run a training program where we give you contacts, industry contacts for both van brokers, so you can get the best prices on vans and leases for your vehicles, and also insurance brokers. So we have a company that we work with that give the guaranteed cheapest prices in the UK for hire and reward, goods in transit, and public liability, the 3 insurances that you need. And you get access to these companies, to this database with all these companies on there when you join our mentorship program. If you want some more information on that and how you can get started and get the right training, get the right industry contacts, and save money on your initial setting up expenses when starting out as a van delivery driver, all the information for that will be in the link of this video, the description of this video. But for now, I'm going to leave it at that. That's how you can get started as a van delivery driver, as a courier driver, an independent courier running your own delivery business for less than £1,000, how you reduce them expenses at the beginning. And that's it for now. Take care, guys. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Like, subscribe, share this. If you want to message me on TikTok or Instagram, the links for that will be in the description as well. Same as the link for our email list and also our free Telegram channel, where I'm going to send you free tips just like this one here every single day. So you can learn about the courier industry, you can get all of the right information, and you can apply it to make your delivery business a success. So if you want that information, again, check out the description. But for now, that's it. Take care, guys. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Goodbye.